So this question, it really upset me because I was like, well, I don't like learning about the civil rights, not because I don't want to be integrated. It's because I find it stupid that we have to learn about it
every year,
right?
Every fucking year.
And I don't like the fact that everyone is well, they have to fight for their rights and they're at a disadvantage. Well, the only reason that they're at a disadvantage is because we still learn that at one period in time we weren't integrated. If we would stop learning about that, I'm pretty sure that no one would be racist anymore, because that's the only thing that they knew, was that we were always integrated. So I felt very, I don't know, I felt really weird about this question, and I was like, I don't like this question. I really don't. So I was like, why? And so what I put on the paper was a correct answer, but then I answered it the way that I felt, and I was like, what did this earn? What did the civil rights earn? It earned a place in our textbooks that no one will ever read, and that it earned a certain setting of mindset and people because they want to be racist, like their forefathers or whatever it is. And so,
and it gives the teachers an excuse to crap talk the South.
Right.
Crap talk my home. Crap talk Georgia.
Yeah, I get that we did some very bad things and that yeah, they fought for their rights, but when I see my African American friends, I'm not just oh, they had to fight for their rights. No, I'm like, dude, what's up, man? I've never known that they had to fight for their place in this world. I've always known them as just people, you know? So that's what I get mad about, is learning about the civil rights movement, because if that was excluded from any textbook, people would not know the difference. I legit did not know that African Americans were not free till the 7th grade, because that's when we got taught about the slaves. So that is how I felt. Oh, another thing that I put down was that I could have used this space for other things, like how to change a catalytic converter, or how to do a brake job, or something like that, because because I'm a mechanic. I will be next year.
Yeah.
And so, or even to balance a checkbook, that's really, really useful in today's society, because everyone has a checkbook, right? Everyone. I don't care who you are. If you are over the age of 18,
Dude, I'm under 18 and I got one.
You own a checkbook. I own a debit card. Please teach me how to budget my money. Instead of teaching me, that they were slaves at one time, and I'm like, that's stupid. Let's cut the crap. Let's stop talking about this. It's just stupid. Why even teach us this? Because that just gives people another mindset to think. And yeah, I know in today's society it's great to feel like your own person, but that shouldn't be a part of our personalities. We shouldn't remember it as oh, they were bad at one time, so now they're always bad because they're always they're against us or whatever. Let's just see it as there are other human beings. They have a place in this world, and that's all that matters. God.
Buddy, one thing that really bothers me about the civil rights movement is the excuse it gives teachers to trash talk the South. In the South, I have plenty of black friends in the South, and maybe a lot of them do work with me on the farm, but that does not mean they're slaves. I do not discriminate against them. That should not give the teachers any right to trash talk the South, especially the fat ones that never been there in their whole life. They're turning teenagers into wimps and losers and people who, I don't know. The world needs Jesus.
Okay, I don't care what your beliefs are. If you don't believe in Jesus, then you need whatever else you believe in. But and it really especially makes me mad because, like, my history teacher this whole time is, like, only talking about how the whites are wrong and, like, how the whites have never, like, she's, like, slandering just the whites. She doesn't say, like, she doesn't speak of anyone else being enslaved, like, how the Indians were enslaved. It was just, like, yeah, or, like, how white people are enslaved today over in Russia, like, Czechoslovakia, and places like that. They are enslaved over there. But she never talks about that. She only talks about how the whites enslaved the blacks. Never about how whites enslaved Indians, who are other whites. Or how, like, whites are being enslaved, how Mexicans are enslaved, or anything like that. She only talks about how whites enslaved blacks. And, like, she is white.
She's Mexican.
She's Mexican. Well, she's not Mexican. She's, like, Hispanic.
Yeah, she's sort of.
But that's
she's not like.
it really makes me so.
Mexican, not like Taco Bell.
Hi, Blake. Looking fancy.
Turning me on.
Oh, I need to fix my shoe.
Dude, Harley better have brought me the glitter today so I can please Landon.
Why?
Landon.
Why do you need glitter?
So I can please him. Just read the answer.
What?
Shrek is love.
Oh, Shrek is life. But yeah, that's just.
No, it was ugly.
Well, what?
Yep.
So that's like. That's just how I feel about this whole thing. Like, let's not learn about the civil rights. Like, I understand, yes, they did have to fight for their rights. And I understand, yes, like, they were discriminated upon at one point. And stuff like that. But, like, let's end it. Let's call it quits with that, you know? Like, it's gonna take all of us to do it. Like, next time that you get a test that's about, like, the civil rights, like, if your teacher has been really racist and hasn't taught you, like, anything about how anyone else has been enslaved, just how the whites enslaved the blacks, not how, like, we are enslaved in countries, like, third world countries. Like, what I want you to do is I want you to write on your test and just be like, answer the question, and then, like, flip the test completely over to the blank back of the page and just be like, yeah, well, you're racist. And just, like, call her on her bluff. Don't use cuss words or anything that can get you suspended. No, not yet, because the bell hasn't even rung.
You should do a PT vlog sometime.
But, like, no, I can't because I need my GoPro for that.
Oh, okay. Here, I'm gonna go put this in.
So-
Okay.
Okay, I'll walk with you, I guess. But, like, I want you to call them on their bluffs. Just be like, you know, you've only talked about how the whites enslaved the blacks. Why can't you talk about how people in third world countries are enslaving the whites? You know, talk about how, like, it's the opposite in some countries. So, like, I want you to just be like, look, it's not always whites are mean to the blacks. Sometimes it actually is the complete opposite. Like, whites are enslaved. Just like the Jews were enslaved, you know? We learn about that, but, like, when it comes to the Holocaust, we don't learn. When it comes to, like, the Holocaust, we don't learn that, like, only Jews were enslaved. We learn that some gypsies, they were enslaved, homeless, handicapped, those people. We learned that, like, everyone who was in the Holocaust, like, all different races and stuff. But, like, why can't we learn about all the different races that are discriminated upon? Why can't we, as a whole nation, stop learning about just the blacks? Let's stop being so racist against the whites who are being enslaved. You know, let's learn about everyone that's enslaved, you know?
Yeah,
So, like, yeah, let's start learning about, like, everyone who's discriminated upon. Not just, like, because I know, like, whites were discriminated upon more now than we've ever been. Because, like, you have people who are, like, calling us a bunch of names, but if we start to call them a name, we're racist, man. Like, automatic. Like, I consolidated this. But, yeah, so, like,
Okay, look, Jason, come here.
let's start talking about how, like, the whites are being discriminated upon, like, now. And how, like, if we, like, walk up, like, African Americans, they can walk up and call each other, like, the N-word, but we can't call them that, because that's automatically racist. Because we learned that during the civil rights, the South would call the African Americans the N-word, and it's like, that's just what we call them. But then they turn it, like, from, like, slander, and they turn it into, like, a good thing. Like, oh, what's up, my N-word? I'm just like, yeah, that's like, why? But then as soon as we start to say it, everyone's like, oh, you racist, you racist. Like, we're being... I guess I just feel as if, like, today's society is completely different, and that we should not learn about that, because that just opens up a whole new world of racism. So, I mean, yeah, I need a question for today. Let's go, we're going to Goodwin.
You were laughing about.
I said the homecoming game. I said like.
Yeah, during the homecoming thing. You were laughing about.
So, I hope you guys don't, like, give me a bunch of crap for this.
But you're doing it on purpose.
It's alright though.
No, my leg is just starting.
Don't yell at me for this. This is just my personal views.
What did it even stand?
Tony! Tony! Bring up Tony.
Broke out.
Hey, bud. I'm recording currently. My vlog. Let's go, man. What's today's question? My video today was about civil rights era, like movement. Type stuff. No, it was not cool. I'm going on a rant. I was on a complete rant today.
Do I want to know what the... Hi, Tony.
Well, the rant was not about, like...
Can Tony come back to class?
Like, it wasn't racist. It was just saying that, like, if we weren't learning about the civil rights era, maybe people would not be racist still, because we wouldn't know that there's a history behind
We're
it.
in a packed ass.
We would know, like,
It's not. No,
it's just another person. It's not
like
like
the block
they were
ones.
inferior at
The
any
ones
point.
that go, like, make a triangle somewhere.
Like, think about it. Like, if we didn't learn that, like, people were racist at one point in time, maybe, like, it would stop and we wouldn't know anything. Like, we wouldn't know a whole new racist side.
I kind of...
I need a question.
Why is Miss Goodwin the most awesome teacher in the world?
Because we watched Dead Poet Society, obviously.
Okay.
Oh.
It's like a little hash.
I need a, like...
I'll have you take it today.
Miss Liar.
Hey, so I'm freaking out. That's my year for like
She's freaking out.
going.
Okay. Well, I got absolutely nowhere with that. I still need a question. What is your favorite thing in history to learn about? That is today's question. What is your favorite thing in history to learn about? Yeah. So, that's it for today's Ride the Tide, catch you on the flip side.